Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, your homegirl Ladosha, right? Welcome to my YouTube channel. What they don't tell you at the hair salon, I will. Today the topic is going to be real simple, sweet, short, straight, and to the point. I was styling hair in the salon the other day, and a customer said to me, Ladosha, what is the difference between a silk press, flat ironing, and straightening your hair? I want a silk press service, but I'm not quite sure if it's the service for me, if it's safe enough. It's really, really expensive, and I just want to know, like, what's the difference? Is it something I should invest in? So, here's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. In the beauty industry, we have something that's called wordplay. As a matter of fact, all businesses have something that's called wordplay. And we like to take old things and reinvent them and give them a new twist. Kind of like how a music artist would take an old song and do what we would call a remix and revise the song and give it a new beat and maybe a new hook or whatever. But it's pretty much the same song. Fashion, we do the same thing in fashion. They were pedal pushers and then they were, capris, So we'll do, industries will do certain things to reinvent what's old, give it something new to just kind of revitalize it or reinvent it with their own twist, because that's the artist, that's the artistry in both industries. So in music you have art, in fashion you have art, and of course in hair, you have what? A lot of art. So when it comes to things like, what's the difference between a silk press, a flat iron, and a straightening comb service? The answer is wordplay. Now remember, wordplay are words and phrases that we're using to reinvent something that's old and give it more what? Value. And so I'm just going to break it down a little bit, starting with, in the beginning, there was the straightening comb. Now, believe it or not, in antiquity, Egyptians had been straightening hair for since the days of yore, like before Christ. So, but we often see the invention of the straightening comb is associated with right here in America, and it was actually invented by a gentleman, an African-American gentleman by the name of Walter Sammons, who actually holds the patent for the straightening comb, not Madam C.J. Walker, though I do think she did eventually bought the patent for it, but he had held the original patent for the straightening comb. But before then, in antiquity, they had, was smelting, iron and ore and creating, styling implements, but we never get that history. But remember, on this channel, what they don't tell you at the hair salon, I will. So there you have it, the rich history on smoothing hair out before antiquity up until now, okay? So the straightening comb has a couple of different good benefits, contrary to popular belief. So one of the biggest myths about the straightening comb is that, people of color, were straightening out their hair because they were trying to associate, with white people. So, I would say that's partially true. However, remember now, when we were stolen from Africa, we did not lose everything that we had in antiquity. So some people, some of our ancestors remember some things and some didn't, but of course we don't have that rich history in writing because we were not allowed to write, but we do hear about these things through our oral histories. And now with the wonderful advent of now called archaeology, we're starting to see that our ancient ancestors ancestors, their old, practices are starting to come up in what? Excavations. So that's another way that we can find out. We're getting two different narratives about what we did to our hair. So the other thing is you have the hieroglyphics or the meta-nectar. Now those are not pictographs, so I always throw that in. I don't want to minimize our ancient writings and the scribes as pictographs. However, they are depicting something. And so we do see that in the imagery on the hieroglyphs, there are various different types of hairstyles that our ancients were attempting to depict as best they could. And so we see different types of hairstyles. We even see some images of them actually styling hair. So straightening hair don't always totally associated with trying to be something that you're not. That our ancients, our ancestors have definitely left a rich history that beauty was modification. And we know that they believed it because they turned to Mother Nature. And when you look in nature, you see constant images of what? Metamorphosis. So I would say, at some point in time, nobody would be surprised that if anything is crunched, somebody would want to smooth it out and somebody would want to bring it back to form and do it again. So we can see that in anything from a flower that's closed to opening up to a butterfly that's going through that whole, caterpillar to a beautiful, butterfly. And we also see that in hair. So don't totally, take the straightening comb and just throw it out with the bath water of African Americans trying to be white. That's just one of the narratives that was given to us by who? Them, okay? So I always say, learn a little bit of your story, the real story. Move that way, move out the way, okay? All right, so now, here we go. The straightening comb, the good, the bad, the ugly. So the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's start off with the bad. The bad thing about this baby is that it gets real hot, okay? And if it's too hot, it will burn your hair. So now, that part, it will burn your hair part, it don't burn it by itself. It burn it because what? The wrong technique. Remember what I'm always teaching. Hair care and hairstyling are about three things: the right products, the right tools, and the right technique. So here you have the right tool, but leaving it in too long and putting it on your hair, that's too hot. You can't blame that on the straightening comb. You have to blame it on who? The user, okay? So you have to learn how to use the straightening comb. The straightening comb can be put on the stove. The stove can be electric, gas, or these ovens that we use back here. There we go. In the hair salon, we just insert these babies in there and they heat up to about 450, 500 degrees. Now, the next thing you have to do is test it on a white piece of paper, preferably a paper towel, okay? Or a white cloth. If it turns a different color, it's too hot. And then you're going to begin to press. Now, press the hair doesn't mean straighten the hair, okay? Press and straightening are two different things. That's what they don't tell you at the hair salon. Pressing the hair is about taking the straightening comb, bringing it in, and you're going to press it with the back of the hair. Straightening hair is about taking the comb and literally attempting to straighten out the hair. So straightened hair does not nearly get as smooth as pressed hair because you're using the back of the comb to literally press the hair. That's a skill set, and a lot of people don't know how to do it. A lot of people don't respect that's coiffing, that's hairstyling, and but there is a distinct difference, okay? Also, the type of straightening comb. Now, this is Annie. This is a more newer version of the straightening comb. In my experience, the best straightening combs are your Kentucky-made straightening combs. Straightening combs, believe it or not, most of them are made right now in China. You've guessed it. So a lot of companies are not even really manufacturing straightening combs here in the United States, but Kazur, I think they are doing a few, but Kentucky Made was originally made here, but a lot of straightening combs are not made in America. Electric straightening combs are not worth even mentioning, okay? I'll say it again. Electric straightening combs, good in theory, not in practice. Okay, so straightening combs. The best straightening combs are made out of cast iron. The newer straightening combs are a mix of cast iron, aluminum, and nickel, which means they get too hot and they burn really fast, and you have to be really skilled. I am blessed to have my grandmother's straightening comb. So I still have the original Kentucky made straightening comb. This one is the newer one by Annie. It's not too bad. However, the teeth have become a little loose, but that happens because you're heating them up. And I believe the Annie straightening combs, you can find them on Amazon or probably at your local beauty supply store. If you're blessed to still have a Kentucky made, whoop, whoop, okay? So that's what I have to say about the straightening combs. They are safe, they are good. Pure cast irons are best. The ones that are mixed with aluminum, cast iron, and nickel, they get a little hot, especially at the tip. So you have to be careful. And when you're putting them in to the oven, sometimes the dinging, you're going to see the teeth become just a little, as you can see, bent. And that's part of the process. You could take a razor blade and go in between and then begin to loosen them up. But I wouldn't do it, you know, that's just, you know, it's a straightening comb, okay? All right, so next up on the MIC. Woo, all right, let's get some silk to the shocker right here. So now we have ye old flat iron. Now, the flat ironing is using the technique of the pressing, okay? So with the back, remember, when you press hair, you're using the back of it. Now, flat irons come electric, and they also come the kind that you put in the stove. I didn't bring one out, I should have. But this is the electric one. And so, like the one that you put in the stove, it's about just making the hair straight, okay? Or pressed. So you're gonna get pressed and straight when you use the flat iron, provided you're using the right product, the right tools, and the right technique. Professionally, I'm just gonna be honest, I like, you know, the kind that you put in the oven better than the electric ones for one reason and one reason only. This cools down as you use it. This bad baby right here, Shaniqua, this thing stays 450 degrees the entire time. It never cools off. So if you're trying to curl your hair, oh, my hair won't curl because it's hot, baby. This thing is hot. So you can do some little soft, you know, chouchou-larue, as Dr. Spritz would call them. So you can probably, you know, swoop your bangs, but a full, you know, like curl, you can't really curl hair with flat irons. Number one, they're flat. I mean, you can get a curl, but you ain't gonna get a curl like you can with the curling iron because they're cylindrical, okay? I mean, that's just the truth. I can curl with a flat iron. Oh, not like Big Mama and them curl. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them different kind of curls, okay? So, flat irons, you can be creative and, you know, curl your hair, put some little beach curls, whatever you're gonna call it this year, you know. But they're really not for curling hair. They're for smoothing and straightening. The straightening comb, you have to do both, you know, straighten and press. So more work, less work, safer, more compromising. And I say more compromising because a lot of people don't understand the power of heat. And so some people, you know, they think less heat is better. And it's not. Hair is meant to be either all curly or straight. And like, well, no, I just want a soft press. Listen here. Soft press, remember, this is the fabric. So if you soft press your clothes, what's gonna happen? They're gonna be wrinkled back up the moment you start moving. So the same applies with hair. Soft presses are for people with what? Softer hair who don't need as much heat. Now remember, some of these terminologies are coming from, you know, slavery. You know, when we didn't have the English language down to a science. Kind of like Jamaicans when they say, well, you look so crisp. But in America, we say you look so fresh. You see where I'm going with this? So soft press is a term that really came back in a time when, you know, our ancestors were doing hair, you know, Let's be honest, for massa now, because it wasn't us, okay? So they were just adjusting the temperature to style the mistress's hair. And so that language, again, culturally, it just kind of kept coming down to us. But that's not what they meant. They didn't mean less heat. They meant a different technique for that texture, but there was no language, there was no YouTube for textured hair, okay? All right, so now we have the different types of implements. Now let's go into the products. Now you have there's a lot of stuff you can use to press out hair, okay? So number one, ain't nothing gonna straighten hair or press it out good like grease. Good old-fashioned grease. Oh my God, it's petroleum. It'll burn your hair. Remember, you are responsible for knowing how to use the heat with the product. The product will not burn your hair, you will. Hair is an excellent conductor of heat, provided you know what you're doing. And knowing doesn't mean knowing your hair. Knowing means knowing the tool, the product, and what? The technique. I know y'all like, damn, Dosha. I'm just doing my YouTube job, okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game, all right? So you gotta know what you're doing. It's not good enough to just know how to use a straightening comb. You got to know how to use the products, and no, all pressing oils are not created equally, okay? Well, they all made from petroleum. So is Kool-Aid and Wyler's. But Wyler's taste different from Kool-Aid. All right? Okay, y'all like, Dosha, you tripping. Y'all know Wyler's taste different from Kool-Aid. Come on now. So there are different types of methodologies that these companies go about and how they froth it, how they whip it. Sometimes they add other oils to them. So you got to know your stuff. Now, this is old school Excellento throwback. It's like the bourgeoisie of the pressing oils, okay? Number one. Number two, you also need to understand that the old school products are not available any longer because we have stopped straightening our hair, number one. Number two, then people stopped using it because the image had changed from a real greasy look to a more fluffier, look. So then the old school products became obsolete because people were not using them. So they do have websites that have old school products. So go check them out and see what you want. But at the end of the day, you can just use Vaseline, okay? Don't you use no Crisco now. You can use lard, but don't use Crisco. All right, or you can use oil. So oils, I would say use oils that can stand up to at least 430 to 450 degrees of heat, such as grapeseed oil. Do not use coconut, shea butter. No. Do not use scalp pomades. So you do have pomades like, it's back there. So I have another pomade. It's by Deca that's formulated for your scalp. Do not press hair with those because they are very light and they have so many other ingredients with them and they burn really fast because those oils cannot take a lot of heat. So again, you have to know what? The right products, the right tools, and the right techniques. The average person does not know that, which is why you have to become a member on my home hair care platform called globalhaircare.patreon, where you get a little bit more than all this jibber jabber up here on YouTube, okay? But y'all liking this YouTube channel because it's been moving along, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now the question, so what's the difference between silk press, flat ironing, and straightening hair? The answer is none. There is no difference. No, seriously. The difference between straightening your hair, a silk press, and flat ironing your hair is the cost. So pressed hair, if you're pressing hair, depending on where you live, it's not going to be as expensive as a silk press or using a flat iron. Some people will even charge more because they know how to do this ancient, or I'm gonna call it ancient now, it's a shame I gotta say that, but this old school practice of how to press hair. Now, we don't charge extra for it, but some places do, and I would pay it because not a lot of people know how to actually use a straightening comb or the good old-fashioned Marcel curling irons. So if they're charging more, you really want that press and curl, just go ahead on and give up the money because not a lot of people know how to do it. Also, how the hair looks. So this is a regular flat iron service, but some people might call this silk press because the hair looks so silky. Could I achieve this with a straightening comb? Yes, I could, okay? It would just take a long time because of the process to go about getting all the hair straight, but you could literally take the straightening comb. They used to curl hair with straightening combs back in the day. So yeah, you could, but it would take a long time, and that would make this service cost a whole lot more money. So the straightening comb can be, or should be, or will be, or is more expensive because it's more time consuming, okay? The flat iron has brought technology into this old practice of the straightening comb because you don't have to use the teeth and you don't have to, use the back of the comb. So the flat iron can give you the bulk of that. And you could also do the, I'll grab this here. To get that silky straight look, you could do what's called the, the chase method. So the chase method is where you're going to actually take the flat iron, right? And you're going to comb the hair. Now the hair has to be like this, and you will put the flat iron in. Make sure you're not on the scalp, people, okay? So you're gonna feel the warmth on the scalp, and then you're gonna really do this for real, flip it, and then you're going to chase the straightening comb, the comb with the flat iron. So I'll do it again. You're coming in, and here is the chase method. Make sure you have all the hair using resistance to pull the hair straight, and that's how you're gonna get that flowy silk press. So you're gonna pay some money for that technique, though most hairstylists are doing it anyway. So I don't know why they're charging for it. I'm not that kind of a hairstylist, which I've already said my little, disclaimer. I am really good at the science of hair, but I am not the best hairstylist. So if the hairstylist is charging more for the silk press, you know what, guys? You gotta pay them their worth because they have their very own right products, right tools, and right technique to create what they consider a silk press. But you'd be hard pressed, no pun intended, to really find somebody to tell you that there's something, intricately different, considering you're still gonna use a flat iron, okay? So at the end of the day, I think it's gonna boil down to technique and which products they're using to make the hair feel a certain way. But I don't have anything fancy in my hair. I do use my own product line called Ladosha. Where is that? There you go. So Ladosha, and this product is for both if you want to wear your hair straight or curly, because I like to be versatile when it comes to styling my hair. And so it's an anti-humectant. It's going to keep the moisture away from the hair so that as I live in it, it doesn't revert back. But before this fancy stuff, oil does the same. Oil and water doesn't mix. So if you know how to use the oil properly, again, the right products, the right tools, and the right techniques. I know, guys, if you know how to use this properly, you'll get the same effects and the hair won't revert. The only added bonus between using the Ladosha and using the oil by itself is all the super duper mega ingredients that are in it for color treated hair, and the versatility to be able to use it on your hair curly to make those curls whole. You can't do that with oil. So the technology in this is the bomb diggity. However, if one just had to say, Ladosha, quit trying to sell me your Ladosha. I ain't mad. I am not mad at you, boo, okay? You don't have to buy the Ladosha. But if you want to, it's in the link. So with that being said, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn more about home hair care and you want to get that intimate, mature Ladosha talking up and you know all that good stuff, then you know what? Just join me. Join my home hair care membership platform. I have 6 tiers starting from $3 all the way to $45, which are for professionals. And it's about home hair care. I even have a tier where you know the money comes out of your account every month, and I'll send you products to help build your hair care wardrobe, and it'll curb your spending. You can gift out and shop on it, and you know, buy products for your family and friends or whatever. So it's a really cool platform. You know, PDFs. The lowest membership is $3 a month, where you're just getting all this beginners information. So the tiers are going to take you through your learning stages of doing your hair at home that you don't necessarily get right here on YouTube, because these are just random, though I'm trying to clump them together, but they are a little bit more random. The home hair care platform is really specific, and I have a video on there where you can kind of see. And again, that's at globalhaircare.patreon.com, and the link will be in the description. Please, again, like this video. Don't forget to share it and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you just rewind or go ahead on and type me a question, and I promise you I will answer it, okay? And it's me, your homegirl Ladosha Wright, the author of What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, Curly Hair Adventures, and now, what's it called? Okay, I just lost my train of thought. Pandemics, Wars, Crises, the Beauty and Barber Survival Plan. And that's a free ebook on my Global Hair Care Patreon platform to all licensed professionals, okay? Whew. All right, I hope y'all like that. What they don't tell you at the hair salon about the difference between flat iron, straightening comb, silk press, pressed hair, whatever. I will. Peace. Love. We need love right now, damn it. Love, 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 love. And hair. And if you ain't got no hair, rub your beautiful bald head. Power to the people. Rest in peace, George Floyd. We love you.